Hey everyone, it's another quick book review. This, as you can see, is The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane by Robert E. Howard. Robert E. Howard, for me, is a very important writer. He's a very, very impressive imagination, and the stories he's brought to life in the past, Cole, the few Conan snippets I've read, intrigued me. And because Conan, the omnibus, is ridiculously large, I thought I'd take a risk on Solomon Kane, who looks, as you can see from the picture on the front, I'll just show you. You can see the flintlock pistol in his belt, the rapier by his side. We're going to ignore the cane for now. But from the hat to the clothes, the Puritan dress, what he does, and the way he does it, he's very much like a character I come across in a game called Vermintide or Vermintide 2. And that's the witch hunter captain, Victor Saltzpyre. Victor Saltzpyre is criminally underwritten as a character. In the game, he's got loads of different things, like you can kind of get to know him a little bit, but he doesn't really have any literature that I could find that I could get into. So I saw this and I thought I'd give it a go. And this, Solomon Kane, the character, and the visual look and his fighting style and his attitude even, is very much the inspiration for Victor Saltzpyre. So on that level, there's a lot in here for me to enjoy. However, The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane has a pretty significant flaw for the modern reader, in that it is overtly racist. It is so racist. It's like the kind of racism that you just don't see in this day and age, like, unless you're particularly special. This is the kind of racism from early 1900s America, and it's not like a small snippet that you'll get a little bit of, and then you can kind of put it to the back of your mind and kind of get past it and go in the rest of the story and kind of enjoy this, that, and the other. This is repeatedly banging the racist drum. The first few, because there's lots of different stories in here, and like some of them are just snippets that Howard never finished or never published, or all these kind of things. But like the first few, like, kind of tales in here, really very good. No racism that I can remember off the top of my head, but the kind of first major story, I think it's called The Moon of Skulls. Oh, there you go. The Moon of Skulls. That is outrageously racist. Like, I've never read anything like it. So yeah, like I say, normally you can kind of go, oh, it was a different time. Like, you can kind of push it to one side and go, like, I'm here for the core of the story. The core of the story in The Moon of Skulls just appears to be overt racism. White man good, black man bad, brown man better than black man but worse than white man. Like, real kind of pardon me moments. And despite that, you get, like, there's a character called Nlonga who is black, and despite Kane being outrageously against black people, Nlonga is a friend who eventually ends up gifting him this magic staff, this stave, which is kind of like, it kind of becomes his Excalibur of a sort. It's like, it's not, as powerful and obvious as Excalibur, but it's this kind of thing that he carries with him after he receives it as a gift. And I don't really understand why, but it gives a nice thread after Nlonga is introduced and the staff changes hands. It gives quite a nice thread between the stories from that point on. But that's clearly part of, like, the later works from Howard, where he threads them all together. And I think, to be quite honest, some of the earlier kind of standouts, the individual short stories and snippets, they just kind of work better. But again, I'm going to be biased in that sense because when I was reading The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane, my mind was just going, this is the Victor Saltzpyre I always wanted to read about. Very much the Puritan on the lookout for things that offend his idea of God, and seeing himself and very much being the weapon and the advance party of God to wipe these things out, to stop them. So if they, I mean, the character on many levels would just, again, we're going to cut the racism out, we're going to push that to one side. The character of Solomon Kane is kind of very much up my street. He's very much a Judge Dredd-esque. He draws the line, he decides where the line is, and he does not yield. And that kind of character is always fascinating to me. The fact that he does it in this book with Solomon Kane and with God rather than the law or any other kind of thing, not perhaps to my individual atheistic taste, but it was enjoyable. But it would have been so much better. It would have been legendary if he just would have not gone with the racist angle over and over and over and over again. It was just unbelievable. But yeah, this is The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane by Robert E. Howard. And despite the glaringly obvious problems, and sometimes I'd say maybe even because of them, I think this book is worth a read. So if you've read it, if you've got anything to say about it or my opinion of it, you know where I'll be. Be in the comments. Thanks very much. See you around.